Chapter 8, Flicker Flash. Fan came in like a dragon of flames and quickly found the one he was looking for. He punched him and he fell to the floor. Fan got close in his face and froze. I just killed all of your buddies. So where's the eyeglass and where's Lily? He pointed the Gram 370 in his face. They moved me away from her on purpose. I know. I did it, fuckhead. I have all the connections. You think about that, Fan stated, and Jeremy froze solid, and Fan stared him down. Do you love my girl? Fan asked, and since he had a Gram 370 pointed at him, he said yes. Does she ask for you, Haffy, or does she ask for me? She asked for you. Don't you forget that, Fan warned. Where's the fucking eyeglass? I don't know where she is, but AK is missing and I'm afraid he's going to show up and do something. Fan tried to take the eyeglass, and since Jeremy loved it, he fought Fan's mind and cranked up the frequency. Fan smiled as his earplugs adjusted to it. I see how it is. You may want to bow down to me now before I fry you. Jeremy was scared and very pissed off, so he gave him all he had, and Fan's head started to hurt because the earplugs had reached their max. Fan smiled. Guess what? You're going to give me that thing, and I'm going to find Lily. If you love her, you already know where she is. She's been taken away. He raised his frequency again, and Fan yelled, but Fan pulled out a very ancient camera and began to blow up tons of flashes and flashbulbs until Jeremy hit the ground. You have so much power over us, but an old-ass light bulb makes you completely helpless. Jeremy slithered his body and reached all around him like a blind man in the dark. Such a helpless threat you are, Fan hissed. That's why you get to live. You are the only one besides me that she really loves. You are my easiest and most helpless threat to me, and I love you for that, Fan laughed. They made a robot like me to kill Lily, but she fried it. She can change programs. She changed the hologram room program with her mind. Can any of you guys do that? No, but she still may be able to change the robot's programs to work for her. But no one does that shit. Nobody turns on this program. But you just did, and Lily does it. Lily does it all of the time. And now Fan believed. Jeremy got a phone call. John Asteen, the clone, right? Correct. How's Lily? Lily's gone. I'm not sure if Alejandro even knows where she is. Who's that? Her Antonon protector. I'm glad she has one. Me too, but she's a really rare one, and I lost my eyeglass. You lost your eyeglass? How the hell did you get one of those? Trading. I'm good at many things, and I sell that talent. I see. What happened to it? Fan stole it. He almost fucking killed me, but he let me go. Fan stole it? You mean he's rebelling? Yes, he is. But he can't get to Lily if she's out there. No, he can't. But he'll be waiting for the very second she returns, I promise you, and we should both protect them. Why? I don't want to see what he's going to do with all of this. I don't want to be his enemy in the long run. Why not? I know everything about STARSET, and you don't know shit. He saw World War III, and he saw Lily again, and they put him through the dream trials. The minute she is returned, and you know for certain, call me and I'll be on my way. Alejandro talked to the Antonon. The Phoebe are taking her for a while. We know you are fond of her, but we must let them. What about Quan? That guy's done enough. Maybe if you would have let him see her, he wouldn't be so pissed off. And now you're sending her off? He might blow up. Yes, maybe. But not if he knows she's gone. He'll settle back down. He'll get back in his place and run the money machine for us like he promised. For a while. But you see, if she's pregnant with a baby, it will destroy every last bit of hope, and we won't have to worry about the damage he can do then. Lily woke up on a different planet. A woman who wore all of the same colored green and gold clothes took her off and redressed her. They all had wavy hair, but Lily's was the darkest. They put face paint on her. They had wavy long hair with designs of green and gold and black that circled their faces like the Maori. The women did Lily's makeup. "Who's Jeremy?" the woman asked. "Why?" "You kept saying his name in your sleep." Lily's eyes brimmed with tears. "Jeremy is somebody I love very much." "Why aren't you with him?" "He was taken from me. I remember the very moment I fell in love with him. I was staring at him. I fell in love with him the minute I noticed his eyelashes were blonde." Lily cried. "I was beginning to realize how much I wanted him." This world is very different from how it was. Everything is so strict and all of the races are separated from each other. It's horrible. I hate it. I was falling in love with Jeremy and they stole him away automatically. I guess I finally understand that I'm in love with him. I saw Alejandro shoot him. I really thought he died. But it was a robot. That scared me so bad. I remember the moment I fell in love with him. The very moment I noticed his eyelashes were blonde. I've even fallen in love with the shape of his body when he isn't facing me. And when he's around, when I look at him, it feels like we make love all the time, except we never have. I never even kissed him. I wanted to many times, and Alejandro is right. I think about it all the time. I wonder if he feels like that when he sees the back of me. I wonder if he feels like I belong to him too. Jeremy swallows me like the ocean, or like a whirlpool. We would have been together already, and that's sad. But I didn't know, nor did I ever think that Jeremy liked me at all. Only when he smiled at me one time and it turned me on. He never did it again. He has the ultimate poker face, though, so he may have had feelings for me from the start when I first came in and I never knew. That makes me feel good. All I do is dream about him and I, real dreams and daydreams. I constantly dream about him being a man and loving me. I never thought about him having the same emotions. Lily smiled. Well, he is a man. I'm sure he thinks about it twice as much as you do. I hope so. That makes me feel good. I love it when he hums to me. Even if I have no idea what song he's humming, it's like I see me laying on him with my eyes closed while he hums to me. Does he know where you are? No, only Alejandro knows where I am. That's probably good. All of those forces may clash together, and it's better if you're not there. I feel guilty for loving Jeremy. I still couldn't help how I fell for him. I dream of him still. Does he know you love him? Not really. I never had the chance to tell him or show him. They grabbed him in the nick of time. My heart is broken, very broken. They walked into a clear part of the forest where a group of children were sitting cross-legged, completely focused and still. They were using their minds to manipulate the stones in front of them. They all moved them together like a wave made of multiple particles. They made it flow like a wave of an ocean. Who's that? Paul. What is he doing? He's training people to move. Is that all he does? Why, no, he does many things. That's why we have him train. He's the best of the best. There are 7 levels of training. Most of them never make it past the 3rd level. Why? Because that's all they are capable of. We can move. We can all move, but everybody has their limit. Paul, until it is as strong as it gets. He looked up and caught Lily's eyes with his blue ones. He smirked a passionate half-smile and looked away quickly. Lily suddenly sat down with the group. Lily, we have to go. She tugged on Lily's shirt. No, we don't. Lily resisted and sat down. The rest of the group stared at her for a minute and continued moving. Lily looked at the basket of stones, picked one up and moved it to her. Paul smiled without turning around. She slid it in front of her but couldn't lift it. The others continued. She focused and grunted, and her rock lifted up and slammed into the person next to hers. It knocked theirs off course. The dark-haired boy sneered at her and picked his right back up and smirked at her in a cruel way. Lily tried to lift hers back up and was struggling. She knocked the boy to the left of her stone off and away, and he just smiled and lifted his again without insult. She tried with all she could, lifted it. It wobbled. A boy stood up and shouted at her. "Go away, you're messing us up. You're no good." "If I'm no good, then why are you yelling at me?" She snatched his rock away from him with ease. The class laughed. She lifted both of their rocks and swayed them with the group perfectly. She was now doing the work of 2 people. She was doing well until... "Stop it," she yelled. "You're pissing me off. He's pulling my stones down on purpose. He's making me fight him." He screwed Lily up as much as possible. Paul lifted 5 stones and brought them to the boy. "Here, hot shot. Pull your own weight." Paul dropped the stones on him, but he could hardly lift all 5, let alone sway them in rhythm. He tried, but they all fell down around him. The whole class laughed at him. "You push her too much. You fail. Better luck next year." "But she's brand new and you tricked me." "Bad sportsmanship. Sorry." Dion left in a huff and slammed the door behind him. "Here, Lily, you just gained his stones." The class gasped, for none of them could move 7 stones. Lily smiled and picked up all 7 and moved them with her new strength. "Lily, we have to go. You're causing too much attention." "I'm used to it." "No, we have to go now." "I want to finish training." Later, Lily got up angry and smiled at Paul and left. The class got silent and stopped moving their things. "Why did you kick Dion out?" "He's an asshole." "You were helping her, weren't you?" "No, I wasn't." "Yes, you were." "No, I really wasn't." "Where's she from?" "Earth, I think." "Who is she?" "I have no idea." The farther they descended, the more Lavender had to use her amulet to pass the doors. "Grab the vase, Lily! Grab the vase, Lily!" Paul shouted, although he wasn't in view. Lily bended down to a knee and listened. "What's wrong?" "He just shouted at me." "No, he didn't. He didn't say anything." "Yes, he did," Lily grumbled. They went down many levels of stairways. They went through the dark and warm hollow. The staircase led them down for miles, and the rooms were the only scenery that changed. Then she showed her the control room. "What is this?" "This is everything. We watch everything and only interfere when we have to, but the Antonons still run Earth because they saved it, and Earth goes by their rule. The mixed children can't be with their parents, and that isn't fair. It's not their fault they're mixed, and they are taken away on purpose. I don't like Earth. This place seems better, more Earth-like. Maybe the old Earth, not the new Earth. Got that right. We hide the technology because it causes too many problems. We learn through other planets to use it rarely and only to bring rain and to heal people. Those that use it for destruction all meet their ends one way or another. Am I ever going to go back to where I was before? Never. We're going to want to keep you, and so will the rest of them. It's going to be a real battle." 2 days later, Lily returned to Paul's class. She came in smiling. "I get to train." Paul smiled back at her, and she sat down. They were now on level 2. They learned light objects were easy to be precise with, while the heavier objects could only be moved better if they worked as a team. They practiced tying knots in ropes. They also wove a blanket together to teach patience and teamwork. 3 teams of 3 must use the objects in the room to open the locked door and retrieve this crystal ball from the bowl. The first guy went to look for the key. Since you could see through the cage cell and see the ball, one man just picked it up. But he was clumsy and it swayed back and forth and accidentally bumped the metal bars It made a ringing sound when it hit the bars, and the others turned around. "Damn it, put it back down. We're supposed to go get it. That's why there's a door." There were small rocks all over the cell. They couldn't even roll the ball closer to the door or it would shatter. If you drop it, it breaks. He tried to put it back and it wobbled. The second teammate helped him balance the ball with his added power and the ball stopped swaying. The other guy started helping too and it slowed the ball down where it was softly put back in its place again. One went to find the key and turned into the lock, but a trap hatch opened and stones fell on them. Lily screamed as the others ducked or jumped with surprise, but then they just held still. "Lily, are you okay? It wasn't real." "It sure as hell looked real." Lily composed herself. "So the lesson is," he asked, "there's a booby trap we didn't see. If we're near the door, we die." "Correct. Next team ready?" "But that's not fair. They know there's a trap." "Well, yeah." "They gain on our mistakes?" "Yes, they do." He set the booby traps back up. Next was Lily's team. One got the key. Lily found a knife and moved it to cut the ropes of the booby trap. It triggered the trap and all of the stones fell down. One opened the lock and the door. Lily rushed right into the passage, but a huge wall of flames blew at her. She screamed and jumped out of the passageway backwards, dancing and patting herself. "It's not real, Lily." "Screw you! Holograms didn't look so real in 2014, she yelled, still startled and angry. "You're from the past?" "Suspension chamber! Not my fault!" she yelled and cried at the same time. He laughed. She looked pissed off. She hung her head down, leaning over with her hands on her knees. She was breathing heavy, but once she had calmed down, she looked up at him and laughed. "That makes sense to me," Paul said. Lily looked back up at him. "But I didn't know there was another trap ahead of me, and it surprised me. Not fair," Lily pouted. "Yes, fair. You never know what's coming next. Third team ready?" "Well, I would have tripped that trap too and brought the fire extinguisher with me," Lily mumbled. The next team went and cleared the traps completely, especially with her ideas, and retrieved the ball safely. "What's the lesson?" Paul asked. "If one person lifts a heavy, it's sloppy. If another person is helping, it makes the other stronger. And if a third person helps, it makes it easy." "Yes, you can move heavy with delicacy as a team. Don't forget that. You learn from others' losses. Fuck the fair shit because shit ain't fair." "Yes. Sometimes the good guys lose and another takes his power. Sometimes the good guy wins and a bad guy loses and the good guy takes his power. You never know which way it's gonna go. Watch and learn so when you have a chance to succeed, you carry it out. Sometimes you are stepped upon victim because they stole your knowledge, and sometimes they can be the victim because you learned from their mistakes and stepped on them. It's not fair, but that is the truth. That's life." "Reset the traps," Lily asked. "But it's over, and you already lost and Team 3 won, Paul said. "Yeah, I know, but I don't care. Reset the traps. I'm going in alone this time." "But that's not the quest. You're supposed to work as a team and figure out your power together." "I don't give a shit. Just reset the traps and let me do it alone." Interested, he did it for her, and they all watched her. "Tell me when you are ready. Count me down. Time me." Paul waved a hand and a stopwatch appeared. "Ready, set, go," he said. Lily picked up the key and in 3 seconds unlocked the door, and the stones fell upon her, and she crawled right through the door, and then the fire blasted at her, and she crawled right by, letting it pound her, and she never caught fire. She lifted the ball, and it came to her hands in seconds flat. Then she tucked it under her arm like a football and rushed through. More fire blasted at her, but she closed her eyes and crawled back through the passage. She came out smiling, gave the ball to Paul, and screamed, "Touchdown, Seattle!" Lily did a dance around him. "Time?" she asked, and Paul stopped the clock. "New Guinness record, Lily, but it still doesn't count. You would have died." "But I didn't," she said. "I'm not afraid anymore." He suddenly kissed her, and then she finally relaxed and kissed him back in front of the whole class. She slowly backed up and stood silent and said nothing. They just smiled. I want to talk to Lily alone. Class is over until tomorrow. He led her outside into a forest. He held her hand and kept smiling sweetly at her, with the sun shining in his blue eyes. I was a part of STARSET too, Lily, Paul said, and Lily laughed sadly. Like all of the joy had been sucked out of her, and tears began to stream down her face silently. No, you weren't. Everybody died except for me and Fan, and I'll never see him again, because I'm some kind of rare alien who's just a womb for other aliens, like a test tube. Yes, you are, Lily. But only 2 actually died in the STARSET crash. But the rest lived until the army showed up. All of them were killed for betrayal, except for you, who was hidden, me, who was hidden, and him. He pressed a button by his neck, and as handsome as Paul was, his whole face slowly turned into fans as the holographic mask fell down. Lily, I'm Fan. It was the young Fan. You're not real, she screamed. You're lying, she slapped at him while crying. You're a robot. You're just another dream trial, or just another hologram, Lily screamed. It's really me, Lily. I got in one too, just like I said I would. But an imposter stole my name, my face, my whole identity. He stole my life. He even stole you from me until now. What happened in the crash? After I put you in there, I was attacked by Bennett. I know him. He was in love with you, and I didn't know it at the time. I did, Lily said. Just one time, as strong as he was, I saw his eyes almost cry, and I knew. He copied everything about me, including my face, into a holographic mask. What happened to you? I met a man in STARSET before our mission who knew many things. He gave me a nano cloak of invisibility to cover myself with. He was in a different country at the time, but he left me instructions on how to find you. I hid invisible until after Bennett was taken away from the crash, under my name and my face. I got into the only other chamber upon the ship that still worked, and nobody knew about that one. He instructed me beforehand to build it and keep it a secret. He woke me up out of it by a remote before you were found. He wasn't just a genius. Sometimes I think he was a time traveler. That's how I feel about Musk. That was weird timing. Okay, still with me? So it's the fan you met before is a fake. He's a fake. This is the real guy, and he's young. That was weird timing. Hey, what's up, Mr. Musk? I'm going to write a song about Mr. Musk. He also gave me feed powers, so I could be here and hide under a different face and wait for you to be found by someone else. You had some kind of special blood, and he told me that later in the future you would be passed around and we would have to find a way to keep you here. So he gave you feed powers stronger than all of them to give us the hold to keep you here. So I'm not part Phoebe. You are still the last of your kind. You're a piece of Phoebe, but he made sure you would shine in order to stay here with me. I can't believe it's really you. You didn't age. I promised you. It just turned out so different. Bennett's not dead yet, and you must keep these secrets. Oh, and your friend Jeremy's been helping me. He's alive? Lily screamed.
Would you like to say hello? I love you too.
Yes, he was helping you get to me. He was replanted by Bennett because you were falling for him. What? You both love each other, but Bennett is just about to come back for you, the fake fan. Bennett just killed all of his family. What? But why? Because he loves you, and he doesn't want them in his way. He killed all of them, Lily. The good news is the Antonon don't want him to be with you or leave. If he takes off, they will chase him. Did the Antonon know he's a fake? I don't know. I've been asleep too. He did a lot with my name and then changed it again. The Antonon have always had him by the balls, is what I've heard. I was picked up by a halfie too. But I started moving heavy things right away, which kept them from taking my blood. They sent me straight here, and I've been waiting for you to show up. He killed them all. They sent me straight here, and I've been waiting for you to show up. He killed them all, and he's trying to find you, but vanished. He's lost on finding you, at least for a while. The Oxar and Satso will take you away soon, and none of us can beat them, not even together. We've been trying to set up a plan ahead of time. You really like this Paul guy, don't you? Yeah, I'm sorry. You're lucky we're the same damn person, or I'd be mighty upset with you. I've waited 26 years to love you again, Lily, and you're not getting off easy this time.